Cool. I think we are sorted then. We should be going live on YouTube, so hello to everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well. That's breaking, cool. Hello to the people who are watching. Hi, how you doing? How's your evening? How's your Black Friday been? Have you picked up anything yet? Are you waiting for the deals that we can find, or is it more, you know, you're just leaving it out? Let me know. Hello to Beowulf, Zen, if you're still here, and Holorift. Also, Matthew, I have a question. Should I try and get the Red Devil 6800 XT or keep the 3080 Ultra I got for 4040p ultra wide first person shooters kind of stuck? So the answer to that is, in terms of stock availability, odds are the the 3080 is probably going to be in stock first. So if you're asking a question of, you know, do you want it now, then the 3080 is probably the better shouts. In terms of performance, that one's one that I can't really answer because I haven't tested. I've only tested one 3080 and I have, or maybe two, anyway, and I haven't tested any 6800 XTs, so I'm not sure how the performance stack up ends up working. Hello Ajay, how you doing, man? YouTube is broken, cool, awesome. So yeah, how's everybody doing? How has everybody's Black Friday been? That one and that one, yeah. Okay, that one. Right. Hello, Mike. Hello, Mark. How are you guys doing? Yeah, that bit's still broken. That's fine. Whatever. Who cares? Oh dear. Right. Picked up 25% off Escape from Tarkov. Nice. Awesome. Hello, Connor. How you doing, man? How's things? Right. Still hunting for the Red Devil. You and Matthew Clements. Can I ask a question from PHP? You can try, but the last time that I used PHP was like 5 years ago. So odds are Stack Overflow is going to be a much better answering tool than I am. So this video, this stream, I suppose, is related to, I suppose, the Black Friday deals. Of course, being from the UK, the majority of the deals that I found are UK based. So if you're not in the UK, my apologies. There will be, so just to clarify, if you are buying stuff from Amazon, in general, it doesn't have to be tech, but you know, if it is tech, awesome. If you're buying stuff from Amazon and you fancy using my affiliate link, then it's in the chat. You can check it out. Feel free to do so. Also, Mike, I'm glad that you're enjoying locally. Speaking of locally, there you go. Yeah, that's awesome. We have been like, you know, we can see usage and stuff, and it seems like you're doing pretty well. So that's awesome, man. Nice. If you ever have any problems or anything, or any suggestions, features, all that sort of stuff, feel free to ping me on Twitter or Discord or email us, whatever. We're always interested in any feedback we can get, really. Ryzen, what's PHP? It is a web like scripting programming language. You use it to create we use it to create like interactive parts of websites. Like you can use it to do contact forms and a load of other stuff. Sergio, so what country are you in? Am I able to record the login time? Yeah, I'm afraid that's not something that I have enough experience with to tell you, I'm afraid. Oh, that's weird. I will change the link now then. Thanks for letting me know. That one. And that one. Cool. That should be sorted. Right. Are there any good deals? So, in terms of like on Amazon, the only one that I've seen like so far was there's up to 25% off on Sabrent drives, including the Rocket, including the Gen 4. Sorry. So there you go. I'm in a box, and the chat should still be above me, I think. But so that's the wrong way for me. So there's even the 2 terabit one has a deal off the 500 gig with the heatsink. So there are a couple. Otherwise, I was looking at clockers, and I was basically just going through all the brands. So sadly, there aren't any. What do you call it? Come on, brain. There aren't any like AMD CPUs, and the only Intel CPU they have listed for a discount is the 10900KF, which is still ludicrously expensive. Like it's insanely expensive. Mark, oh bam, that's nice. I think so. If you what you call it, check out a website called camelcamelcamel.com or .co.uk. So they show you pricing history, and so I haven't looked at all of the things, but I believe that. There you go. There's some discount for that. I was having a look on Scan as well. I don't think that there were many on the CPU side. In terms of like actual Black Friday offers, the 10400F that's a couple quid off. There's an offer for a tenner off a 3700X. Hey, that's not too bad, but I'd probably just buy that instead. Yeah, that's the kind of the problem. Yeah. So CPU wise, and I'll be honest, graphics card wise, yeah, there isn't many, if any. I'm afraid. One and that one. There we go. That's where in stock. I don't think I found a head-to-head comparison between the EVGA and the Red Devil. Yeah, that's fair. I think it will be a fair while before you get to see any level of head-to-head comparison with that, because just of a severe lack of stock. And the same goes for really any of the different models. It's, you know, not great. Where can I get the components for Mini ITX, including the cabinet, from India? So you can try Amazon India, but I am not familiar with what marketplaces are available in your region, I'm afraid. Thank you very much, Sergio. We name it White Friday in Libya. Nice. I got an RTX 2080 Ti for 360. Is it a good deal? Yes, that is a very, very good deal. Even used, that's still much better than they're currently selling for. I think they're selling for £500 or £600 on the used market, which would equate to $600 to $750. So yeah, great deal. Hello, Derek. So I did have a look at some more specific things, or more specific deals, on places like Clockers. Let me swap to that one and that one. There we go. So with this one, this is a variant of a monitor that I've reviewed. This is the VA panel version, but if the 32-inch version of it is anything to go by, this should be a pretty decent gaming experience, and that's a pretty decent price for it. If you want to spend a little bit more, the G27Q, so remove the C, that one is the IPS, the flat IPS version. It's really nice, but if you want to save a bit of money and still get a very nice experience, that's pretty good. I was also looking at laptops, and this is the Zephyrus G14, the one with the Ryzen CPU. This is the 1660 Ti model, but that's not too bad a price considering the size, considering it's the 120Hz display as well, and a really decent Ryzen CPU. And then there's also the white one with the lower end, both CPU and GPU, so the 1650. Which is probably a bit much for 1650, but the chassis is very nice, so yeah. There was also a Lenovo Legion laptop and Acer Predator Helios as well, which actually this one is a pretty decent value overall. And then there's also a case that I have literally just done a build guide in, and it's ridiculously cheap, and it's very, very nice. Coolink have updated the Rocket ITX case to the Rocket V2, and it looks like addressed the issues you found in the OG review. Awesome. So one of the issues that I found in the OG review was me being an idiot. But beyond that, yeah, it was very much a Dan case clone, and it wasn't overly well finished. So yeah, if they've revised it a bit, they've finished it off a bit better, that'd be good. All that matters is a Red Devo 5950 or a decent cheapish OLED TV. Nothing so far. OLED gaming monitors should be available a long time ago. That would be great, for sure. The only thing that the only reason for that, as far as I'm aware, is just that those panels aren't being produced in the sort of sizes that we need and the sort of pixel counts we would need. So the you can buy OLEDs, or you can buy like a Razer Blade Pro or Studio, whatever, or just the standard Razer Blade Advanced model with a 4K OLED in a 15-inch display, or you can buy a like 43-inch OLED, but there's nothing in between that right now as far as I'm aware. Have you gone over hard drives? Not specifically. I actually haven't seen all that many deals for hard drives. Is there any Seagate? No. Is there any Western Digital? There is 5. They're all SSDs. Amazon has a WD 8TB external. Fair enough. Let's see. 8 terabytes for 120 quid or whatever ain't bad. I'd probably go with the MyBook one if I remember rightly. Although the MyBook is the slightly more NAS version, right? Does it have Ethernet as well, or is it just USB? No, it's just USB. Oh, so there's not that much difference then. Fair enough. Well, that's not bad. How much is an 8 terabyte hard drive on something like overclockers? Like 8 terabyte NAS drive. Iron Wolf Pro, sure. That's almost worth buying just to scrape the hard drive set off. I mean, to be fair, it's only a single bay enclosure, and you know, yeah, but yeah. Is it still inside the SMR range? Yeah, it probably is, actually. That's probably fair. It's probably not rated for 24/7 operation. It's probably not an actual NAS drive. It's not a WD red or gold. It'll be a green, probably, which means it'll be an SMR drive. Shingled magnetic recording means that the tracks overlap, basically. it works, but it's slow and prone to data loss and not great. So yeah, it's probably not rated for actually being a sort of NAS drive, which is what this is trying to be, I suppose. But yeah, it's still decent value, and as long as you back up that data somewhere else, I wouldn't be too worried about it if you just want a USB, a large capacity USB drive connected to your PC. But the fact that you can get a 12 terabyte one for a couple quid more is insane. 32-inch 4K market is quite dead, unfortunately. Nothing above 60 hertz. No option to choose from 29 and under and 43 and above. Nobody wants my money. Yeah, what do you call it? The 27-inch monitors are definitely there, or 27, 28, and then 43 and above definitely there. But there's that gap in between, definitely, where there isn't really that many options around. Sure. I was hoping to get a power supply, but they're harder to buy than GPUs. So the one thing that I found was that PC Part Picker has a list of all of the price drops, which includes things like power supplies, which I actually saw a few good ones where... I'll post this link in the chat as well, so you can check that out. And also, just to spam the chat, like I said, if you're buying anything from Amazon, even if it's not tech, feel free to check out the affiliate links that are there. Or if you're buying from Overclock UK, I'm also affiliate for them. Power supplies, there we go. So CCL are selling a Corsair TXM 650, which I think is, semi-modular. God, that's a terrible image. God, all of these are terrible images. Well, you can see standard ATX power supply, 650 watts. Oh, apparently Amazon has it in stock for 60 quid. Even better. There you go. So that's decent. Where are we at? God, that seems really expensive for a 750 watt power supply. Jesus. Yeah, there's some 1500 watt power supplies if you want one. Corsair RMX. That's not bad. 112. Yeah, that's decent. I honestly didn't know that Newegg sold in the UK. I'll be honest. Didn't know they... Oh, and it's out of stock too. Awesome. 1K. I just got a 3090 FE from CEX. Nice. How did you get it from CEX? How do they have stock of a 3090 Founders Edition? Seriously. Oh, so there's also an external Seagate 8TB for £111. I'm guessing that's SMR as well. Yeah, so my experience with taking apart external drives is that the drives that they put in them are not what you would call the desirable ones. It's not like you buy a Seagate or Western Digital external drive and it's going to be a WD Red or Gold or something like that, or a Seagate Iron Wolf or Iron Wolf Pro, or whatever their Skyhawk or something, whatever it is, the NAS drive, the surveillance drive. It's not going to be one of those. It's going to be a probably SMR 5400 RPM, next to no cache, like WD Green, Seagate Barracuda, the low end Barracuda drives. It's going to be one of those. Normally a WD white drive, the lower spec red. That too. WD purple is the secret to go for. Yeah, so WD purple is, for those of you who don't know, is their the drive that they market as the like surveillance drive. So if you have closed circuit cameras and you want to record that to disk, well, they say you should get a estimated. Nope, you should get a WD purple, whereas Seagate would tell you that you need one of their like Skyhawk or whatever it's called, one of those drives. I'm gonna wait for Christmas, I think, to build the PC. That's pretty fair. Stock availability will definitely go up. So when stock does become more available, prices will hopefully come down, or at very least normalize to a better level than we have currently. So yeah. Does anyone know if this PC is good enough to play Fortnite and CS:GO and some games? So probably, like, you might be able to run CS:GO at 720p low settings. You might have actually, you're definitely gonna have a hard time playing Fortnite even at 720p low settings with just an Athlon 200G. We've got 4 in the NAS. Older one is 5 years old, all in 100% condition. Nice. And yes, purples are rated for constant writes. What's the best RAM for a 5600? So as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, 3600 MHz is still plenty fine. I know that you can run higher, but I don't think that you're gonna get a significant performance difference as far as I'm aware. But I don't have a 5600X. I've not tested one, and so I'd only be reporting other people's findings, which you can also find yourself. No worries. What's the best PC case open door? What do you mean by open door? Like, do you mean one that doesn't have a side panel, or do you mean one that you could open the door on? A swing door. Personally, the Fantex Enthoo Evolve X. I ordered a CX750F power supply from Corsair. Nice. I literally did a build with that. That's coming out at some point in the next week or two. So yeah. Should I buy a 64 gig kit, 4x16? Although they are nearly twice as expensive as purchasing 2 of the same 32 gig kits with the same specs. What are the risks and consequences? So as far as I'm aware, there isn't really much difference. The only difference would be that you're by buying a 4x kit versus a 2x kits, you'd be guaranteeing that they have been tested to work together and are all similarly matched in terms of their stability at their at the XMP profile setting, you know, that you would set it to. So whereas buying 2 kits of 2 realistically doesn't really matter, but technically speaking, it would be a you're technically not having them tested together. Like, you're the one who's going to be testing them together, but the fact that they're going to be rated at the same profile means that realistically it's there's no point in not buying 2 kits and saving all of that money. The only difference is if you were using, say, a Threadripper system or Intel HDD, you know, X299 whatever system that used quad channel RAM, then you would want to buy a kit that is designed for quad channel. Technically there's no difference, generally speaking, but they're tuned slightly differently. Some pretty good looking offers on eBay for a range of Razer Blades. Interesting. Let's have a look. That one. Oh, laptops. Right, Razer Blade Stealth. So that's the new one. I actually have a brand new Razer Blade Stealth with the newest CPU, the Intel Evo one or whatever. It literally arrived today. I'll be doing a video on it. Oh, and other great news. Razer are launching a case, and to launch the case, they gave me a load of parts to put inside case and do a build guide with, and, you know, talk about the case while I'm at it. And probably more importantly, I get to give the system away afterwards. Now, unfortunately, it is going to be EU only, but yeah, I get to give away a full system. It's a i5 10400F and an RTX 2060. So if you're interested in having a free PC, then make sure you're subscribed, because when that video comes out, there'll be a full giveaway on that. So yeah, thanks Razer. Thanks Phil. That one. There we go. Is the case nice? They literally arrived in a stack of boxes, like the Razer Blade Stealth and the core that goes with it, on top of the box for all the components, on top of the box for the case, and they're all still in that pile. so yeah, it's not been opened yet, is what I'm saying here. But that will be interesting to take a look at. I've got the ITX case, so it's an ITX system as well. What do you think of the 2700X and a 2060? So yeah, that's a good combination. There of course you can get better, but it's still a very good combination. You still have 8 pretty fast cores that are going to do fine for gaming, even at 1080p, 1440p, that kind of thing. The 2060 is going to hold up well at 1080p, probably even hold up okay at 1440p, depending on your settings. So yeah, that like recommended. Also, we should look at the deals. Okay. Wow, so that is a good deal. So the Blade Pro 17, which is the much bigger one, has a 10875H and a 2070 Max Q and the 300Hz display off for 1600. That is a much better deal than Razer would normally sell it to you for. So if you are after a 17-inch laptop, that's not bad. So you think it's good for 3ds Max, Blender, Photoshop, and gaming? Yeah, so like, of course you can get better. You could go with one of the 12 core options from the 3rd gen, or go with the the newest chips as well. But for the money, yes, that's great. Can I ask Razer to change my German layout keyboard to the US layouts? So I don't think so, specifically because the top plate of the keyboard is a single piece, and unless they were to disassemble the entire laptop and replace basically the lower shell, I don't think that you can replace that. I'm sure that it is technically possible, but odds are it would cost you more than buying probably any one of those. So yeah, Rob's not, I'm afraid. What else have they got? Oh, they've got the A17, which I think was better, although I could be wrong. No. Yeah? No. That's a 17-inch. Still, for a 4800H and a 1660 Ti, 900 ain't too bad. Currently have an AFX mechanical keyboard. What's a decent upgrade, or maybe just decent RGB keyboard? Rob, what sort of money are you looking to spend? And what sort of key switches do you like? Nori's Karkua? Sorry I said that wrong. I inevitably did. I'm looking for a Ryzen 3600, and I have a 1200 and an RX 580. Are there any deals for the 3600? Is it going to bottleneck a 3070 at 1080p? So as far as I'm aware, there aren't that many deals on AMD CPUs. I think they had a list for actual CPUs. Yeah, so at least for price drops that have happened this week, or sorry, today, the 3600 isn't on that list, but I'm sure that you can find good deals somewhere. I'm not sure that that's going to be on somewhere like Overclocked UK. I think it might be look on eBay for a like new one instead. But yeah. Does the affiliate link work if I use the app? That I don't know. I don't think so. You're welcome to try, but I think it's based on browser cookies, and so if you're not buying in browser, it probably won't. But yeah, I'm not sure on key switches. Easy, probably 300 max. Wowzers. All right. So I should probably double check. Come on. OBS lags when I swap scenes. I want to game and do some productivity tasking on 5600X. Is it enough to have a handle heavy multitasking? So yeah, like it depends on what you mean by heavy multitasking. But it's certainly fast, and it's certainly 6 cores, which is the majority of apps, generally speaking, still don't scale overly well. You know, kind of give or take. But yeah, I think you'd have a good time. You could consider sort of downgrading to a 3700X instead, if the work side kind of outweighs the like play side kind of things, because you'll get a bit less what you call it, you'll get a bit less performance in terms of gaming, but you will get a lot more performance in terms of productivity. So yeah. Pizza rolls. My friend said if I buy a new CPU and a B450 motherboard, I have to update the BIOS. Is that true? Yes. So if you're buying a 5th generation or a Ryzen 5000 series chip, you will not be able to use that chip on a B450 board until January, when those BIOS updates roll out, and you will have to update the BIOS to a newer version before you can use that chip. So if you buy a B550 board, you won't have that problem. You should be able to just drop it in, and while you will want to update the BIOS, yeah, that's, you know, worth it. Do you think 3080s will be available in the new year? Yes, I think they will. The question is probably how soon they'll be available. I would expect that it'll be a slow rollout as the pre-orders get fulfilled and people, you know, quit out of the pre-orders. I think it's probably going to be like March before we see concurrent stock, like stock that doesn't immediately sell out. No worries, Abdul. I'm glad you got them. I'm glad you're able to enjoy them. Planning on buying a 5800X, and would an Noctua U12S be enough? So yeah, I think that's pretty decent. It should do you just fine to start with anyway. And if you want to upgrade, the 5800X doesn't draw all that much power, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. It should be fine. I'm gonna do the just mention in the chat, if you're buying from Amazon, feel free to check out the link that's there, and if you're buying from OCUK, feel free to check out that link. And yeah. To answer the question about the keyboard, sorry Rob, I go off on tangents quite quickly. Yes, £300 is a lot for yeah, a keyboard. So if I'm being honest, there's a set of trends across the keyboard market. The one that I've seen the most recently is optical key switch keyboards. So the Corsair K100, that's the new one, which is like £230, which is insane for a keyboard. And basically they threw every feature that they could think of at the wall, and they hoped one of them stick to justify the price. But that's the basic way of doing optical switches. Even people like Asus with the Strict Scope RX who Rocat, I've got and done a video about their Vulcan TKL Pro. That's optical, but it's the kind of basic style of where the sort of moving element of the switch interrupts a beam of light, and that's what actuates the switch. The one that I would highly recommend you check out is the Wooting boards, so WOTING. The Wooting 1 is the 10 keyless, and the Wooting 2 is the full size. That is fantastic. It's incredibly innovative in the feature set, and yeah, just I recommend it. It's also about £150, I think. So yeah, that's real nice. And they generally use linear switches, although you can buy clicky ones, but that doesn't really make sense because of the extra features, so just buy the linear ones. Sorry for the ping. Which one is the most silent of graphics cards? MSI, you don't have to censor it, it's fine. Gamer or serious. So it depends on what the card is, which model, and a load of other things. So generally speaking, from my experience, all of them are kind of the same. But I guess I would check out specific reviews for that. Sam, the clicking would make sense, and I have Cherry MX Browns, and I much prefer having a tactile bump. The thing that I was saying there is that for the Wooting keyboard, because the way that it does its optical switches, it actually measures the travel distance. Having a tactile click when you can change the actuation point doesn't make sense, because the click could be nowhere near the actuation point. You would want a linear switch for that specific keyboard, not for no keyboards at all. What I was going for. Do you know any good wireless headsets? So I was refraining from answering your question because you were asking about wireless microphones, and I can't say that I know of any wireless microphones off the top of my head, that aren't like video kits. But the for wireless headsets, under 60, you're going to be hard pressed to find anything that isn't just a Bluetooth headset. And there are some reasonable ones that are just Bluetooth headsets, but you might encounter a bit of latency, quality, that kind of thing. And I don't have any suggestions off the top of my head. Should I pair a 5600X to the 3070? Yeah, don't see why not. Sounds pretty good. Is the Alienware AW251HF any good? So I haven't tested it myself, but I'm fairly certain that it's well renowned as one of the better 240Hz monitors. So yes. Hi, I'm considering these two options: a Ryzen 7 4800H with an RTX 2060, or a so the Marco, what RTX for the second one? YYA, your question was that a specific laptop, right? Where is it? Inspiron. What graphics card does it have? Did you say? What's the water bottle thing? It's a Seagate one. They sent it to me. I just like it because it's handy, and when I knock it over, it's kind of like a baby spill cup. It doesn't leak. I'm kind of clumsy, but yeah, it's a promotional item from Seagate. I have lots of promotional items lying around here because I just get posted them. Like, I don't even have to go to events anymore. They just send me stuff. It's really weird. In fact, I have a list, a collection of Lego figures, including the MSI Dragon, a Zotac like Power Ranger mech suit thing, and the ROG logo. I have a lot of cardboard boxes. It's worse than you think. It's a problem. And he's hoping they'll send a 45 drive Storinator. YYA, yes, you said that. You didn't say what graphics card it has. Lucas, I believe that you can, we were talking about this, and they have a stealth with the 2070 for even less than that, 1600 on eBuyer, which is insane. The best NVIDIA driver, I guess the latest one. Not the Pro. You said it was? Will my 3080 still work if I ate it? Well, it kind of depends on the digestion process, and if you're like a snake and you can just like open your mouth to fit it in, or if you're gonna have to cut it up first. Because if you have to cut it up, then obviously not, right? But if you can pass it as one object, don't see why not. Hey, looking for a 4K monitor for my PS5 and PC. Do you have any good deals? Let's have a look. So I haven't looked at 4K monitors in a little while, actually. So let's see. I want to see if Clockers have any. Monitors. Cool, you can't sort by anything other than that. Guess we're looking through it manually. 4040p. I'll stick this up on screen so you can see what I'm ranting about, eh? There you go. Shout if you see any 4K monitors. I could be blind. Next page. I'm not seeing any so far. That's 1080p, 1080p, 4040p, ultra wide, 1080p, 1080p. No. What about scan? Do they have any? Where's monitors? Display. That's probably it. I don't want to. Why can't I filter? There's a projector. And there's one. Oh, there's a Dell Ultra Sharp. Oh, that's over $1,000. Yeah, no. Guess not. What about eBuyer? Huh? What about you guys? Come on. Black Friday sale. Can I click on monitors? Yes, I can click on monitors. Woo. Oh, I can click on UHD. Yeah, no. Guess not. Guess the answer is no. There we go. Any tips for large 4K HDR monitors? Seems like a niche market. Yeah, so you could look for the BFGD type displays like the Asus one. There is also the Philips Momentum 55. I did a review of that. That's a 55-inch 4K. It's a VA, but it does have HDR, so that could be a thing. But honestly, if you want a larger HDR display, get an OLED. The LG CX43 or whatever it is a very hot seller. So yeah. DB Sign, I haven't tested a 240Hz monitor in a while. The last one I tested was the Acer XF252Q or whatever it is, which was fine, but I think the Alienware is decent. Both are RTX 2060s. Cool. And now I've forgotten what the which CPUs it was. The 4800H or a 10th Gen i7. So I would personally go with the Ryzen one because you get much better CPU power with less actual power draw. So for me, that'd be my choice. Karkua, that monitor I think should be fine. I've not tested it. Is that 34-inch Iliama recommended to buy from you? So I did a review on the 34-inch IPS one, and my only problem that I had with it was that the input lag was pretty high. But it wasn't so high that it was terrible, so I don't see why not. It was a great price. Did you see that on Overclockers? I have a sneaking suspicion that you might have, because I think I saw it earlier. Yama. Oh, they do have the IPS one. It's 350. Yeah. Maybe have a look and see if you can find the AOC. What is it? The CU34G2X. Cool. Thank you, Streamlabs OBS, again for just turning off. Anyway, we're back. Hello. So yeah, if you did catch that, the AOC CU34G2X is a great option. If not, the Yamaha one's pretty decent too. I did a review of it, video up on the channel. Feel free to check that out. What do you think about ThinkPads? It's been a very long time since I have used one, but they were pretty great. So yeah. Next one, Rob. That's awesome. I'm glad that well, I'm glad that you found it, and I would love to hear when you do get it what you think of it. The feature set that they have is really interesting. So yeah, are VA panels as good as, I'm gonna assume you meant IPS? So not really, but kind of. So VA panels, they offer curves which IPS monitors normally don't, and they offer generally cheaper prices, but they tend to have more ghosting in reality than an IPS monitor, and the IPS monitors are normally a bit more color rich, but yeah. Adam, I can't say that I've tested either of those. Although, actually no, I can't really tell you, I'm afraid. How much should I spend on a COD, an only COD PC? I want a stable 150 FPS. What resolution? What do you think about RAVcore? I have never heard of RAVcore before. IFA 2016. Right there. Oh. Looks kind of cheap Chinese knockoffy. Is it true that the 3060 Ti launches on the 2nd of December? If so, do you think the launch will be better than the previous ones? So the what do you call it? I don't know what the launch date is. I know that it's coming, but the what do you call it? Come on, brain. I don't know what the stock level is going to be like. Odds are probably not much better. I would hope that it is, but it's kind of unlikely at this point. Bubble. So the answer is, if you want a stable 150 FPS, I think you're looking at 3080. If you want high settings, if you bring it down a bit, a 3070 is probably going to be okay. And realistically, any CPU you want, within reason. So any of the Intel i5 10600K and up, and Ryzen probably 3700X and up, including the 5600X as well. Depends on how much money you want to spend. But if you want the most stable of stable 150 FPS, then probably a 3080 or a 6800 XT. Yeah, definitely. Bailey, I have not tested, actually, but I might have done the full version of that. I think that there are better options on the market right now. The Acer VG271UP and the Gigabyte G27Q are both IPS, which is a bit nicer to use and is probably pretty cheap, available. Jesus, I'm not an encyclopedia, Jaden Lee. Saying that, I'm pretty sure that's an Acer laptop. Can you explain a bit more about what that is? Preet, is the AOC C24G1 a good monitor? It is, but the 24G2U is even better. So get that one. I'm actually really impressed with the eBar set of deals. They're like, they actually look really decent. Oh, and they've got their 1440p monitor back. That's been out of stock for ages. Where's my screen? That one. That one. Come on. That one. Nope. There we go. Jesus. I'll take my credit for suggesting that, even though it was an affiliate link. Yeah, I clearly need to sign up for them too. But this monitor, I reviewed it ages ago, and while it's kind of naff, the fact that it's £219 plus VAT makes it actually kind of worth it. There is now a VESA mount. It is vertical ports, but yeah, it's a reasonable panel for the price you're paying. So yeah, if you want a 1440p high refresh rate monitor, it is TN. The build quality won't be fantastic. The stand is absolutely hideous. You'll hate it with every part of your being. But for £200, you know, that's not too bad. What's the best toaster for intermediate users? One that doesn't have too many advanced features like timers and things. Just a wee dial. That's all you need. And a wee, like, you know, eject button. It's not 4K. Correct, it is not. It is 1440p. Did I say that? I might have done. I have a question. Can anyone answer? Can HDMI 2.0 support 120Hz and 1440p? Because I have a Xbox Series S. I believe it can, but I could be stood corrected. I think it can. Yeah. Rando Man, we were literally just talking about that. This Element Gaming monitor from eBuyer. I reviewed it absolutely ages ago, but it's ridiculously cheap. It's 1440p and 144Hz. If you want to spend a little bit more and pay 290 or whatever, 300 or so, the Acer VG271UP or the Gigabyte G27Q will definitely help. Arlo create a bot to buy one on launch day. It's probably the answer. Hello, when is the new AMD CPUs coming to laptop and NVIDIA 3000? So odds are to buy a laptop with both is probably going to be 6 to 12 months. It normally takes 6 months anyway, but the fact that there is COVID and the fact that there is no stock of anything right now, and there won't be for a while, yeah, it's probably going to be like 12 months instead. Is there any 1660 Super TIs or 5600 XTs around? Definitely look on the used market, but yeah. Mike, I did a full video on it. It literally came out this week. You can go check it out. Where is it? Or it came out last week. There you go. I've tested. Look, it's my face in 1080p. And we're like 2p. Yeah, did a video on it. Go check it out. Finadip. I haven't seen one, I'll be honest. Let's see what eBuyer has. They seem to have the best options. Oh, okay. You can buy the IPS one for 400, which is kind of crazy. I don't think that I saw any 240Hz monitors on Overclockers UK. Oh no, they do. Wait, is that the same one? Wow, Clockers have it listed for 300. That's great. That's a great price because it's IPS 240Hz. Yeah, that. Are curved monitors really a game changer? The answer to that is no, not really, unless it's an ultra wide. Like if you've got an ultra wide, where it's the 34-inch one or bigger, 49-inch if you're going for the super ultra wide or whatever it's called. Yes, it's great because it feels a lot more immersive when you're sitting there. But when you've got a 16:9-inch, 27-inch display or 24-inch, I honestly dislike the curve being there. It's just, it doesn't really work that well for me. So no, for a standard monitor, doesn't change anything. For, you know, fancier ones, sure. Should be going for a DisplayPort rather than HDMI. Yes. If that was an answer to a question, then yeah, fair enough. Do you know anything about the Acer XV270 270U, 75Hz, but seems like an okay 1440p deal? Where were you seeing that deal? And or what price is it at? Thanks, Random Man. I do normal versions of this, you know, non-Black Friday specials every Thursday night, so at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you have any other questions in the future, feel free to pop back. And I do videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday anyway, so feel free to, you know, watch those as well. Working planning, lead times and components at the Far East is taking 3 more months than before. So if lead time were 2 months, they're now 5. Won't be expecting regular stock until March. Yeah, that makes total sense, and I would agree. Question: I'm thinking of upgrading in the near future. I'd like to hit a constant 144 FPS on ultra wide. What CPU and GPU would you recommend? Mickey, so the one thing that I would ask is what resolution ultra wide? Is it the 1080p? So is it 2560 by 1080, or is it 3440 by 1440? Lona, the fact that they are all sold out and will be sold out for the next 3 to 6 months means no, there will not be a deal on them anytime soon. Uh, 3440 by 1440. Nice. So at that sort of resolution, you're playing at a bit above 1440p. So if you want a constant 144 FPS at high ultra settings, you're probably looking at RTX 3080, you know, basically top end really, or RX 6800 XT. If you're willing to turn the settings down a bit, then the 3070s and 6800s kind of come into question, but yeah, at that sort of resolution, it's still pretty high end. It's not that many less pixels than 4K. So, yeah, you kind of need top end to play that well. The Acer was on the website, 250 down from 300. So honestly, I would probably, if you're looking for a gaming monitor, I would probably spend a little bit more and spend that 300 and get the VG271 UP. That is 1440p, 144 Hz, and IPS, which makes it a killer deal. There's also the Gigabyte G27Q, and both of those are very similar and very similar prices. So yeah. Does the DisplayPort 1.2 support 1440p 120 Hz? I want to say yes. Yeah, it must do, right? Because 1.3 and 1.4 are only relatively recent, whereas we've had 1440p 140 Hz monitors for like 6 years. So I think so. What's a good 144 Hz 1080p monitor? The AOC 24 GTU. Do you have any Wi-Fi 6 router recommendations? Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you too much, but the Ubiquiti line is pretty great. I'm gonna switch to me. So that would be my general recommendation for the router side of things. You can go with Netgear, although my experience with that has been mixed. Asus, again, kind of mixed. So yeah, it depends kind of what you're after, but yeah. and that is a good point. There is a good chance that your your devices might not support Wi-Fi 6 yet directly. What computer do you recommend for 3,000 US dollars? So you can build a great system for that, and even if you're buying, you can still configure custom systems from the US system integrators, people like CyberPower or whatever. iBuyPower, I think, are out there, and a few others. So you can still you can configure or build an amazing system for that price. For that price, I would probably be expecting a RTX 3090 and yeah, probably like Ryzen 5800 or 5900 or even 5950, depending on what you want to do. And also it depends on what sort of storage and stuff you want and all that jazz. But yeah, you can definitely configure a system for about $3,000 to get a 3090 and a 5800X, for example, 32 gigs of RAM, and that kind of stuff. When do you think 3080s will become normal price in the UK? Probably March to June. What's the best 34-inch 1440p curved ultrawide? So the two options that I would give you there is that Aoyama Red Eagle, or there is the AOC CU34G2X. I reviewed it a while ago. It's a great monitor. I suspect that the Aoyama one is probably very, very similar, but I tested the Aoyama flat one, the IPS panel, and the input lag on that wasn't great. And so if they're using the same scaler in that one as they're using in the IPS, then I might prefer to go for the AOC one, but I don't think that I've seen that AOC one like on sale, like, you know, on discounts. Let me see. Scando have it listed. Clockers have it listed for 400 with 10 in stock, so that's not bad. I think have a check and see if you can find a review of the curved VA one, and see if the what you call it, the like price or whatever, see that the input lag is still naff. If so, then the AOC one is where I would head. Here is a link to the AOC one in the UK, Overclock's UK. Nice one, Wapted. Nice for you to join. Just having 1 gigabit signal with all 10 devices in the home streaming, 5 gigahertz is taking a toll. No worries. Yeah, so you can build the Ubiquiti setup how you like. You can buy just the the Wi-Fi 6 access points, and then build later, swap out your actual router for a Ubiquiti, you know, router and that kind of stuff. But yeah. Any recommendations for 1440p 140Hz gaming? Yes. So we've gone through a couple, but so I'm gonna assume you're in the UK just because that's where I am, and that's the, you know, where I have the most experience in giving deal advice. If you're not, feel free to you know, let me know and we can work out. But this is the cheapest 4040p monitor you can pretty much buy in the UK, and it's not fantastic, but for £219, yeah, it's definitely worth it. There is also the Gigabyte. So there's this one which is on sale. It's not it's not the best in the world, but this is the curved VA one. You can also buy the G27Q, the non-C version, which is a flat IPS panel. I just reviewed it last week. It's great. Also, the Acer VG271UP is also fantastic. That's also 1440p, 144Hz, IPS, FreeSync, all that good stuff. The stand on it isn't fantastic. If you can get the Gigabyte one, it's probably worth it. But the G27Q specifically there. So yeah, those are my suggestions for 1440p monitors right now. I'm getting the Series X and want a 120Hz monitor, but don't want to spend a fortune. No worries. So, what resolution do you want to play at? I would probably suggest either 1080p or 1440p. I can't remember what the what you call it. I can't remember what the come on, brain. I can't remember what I was saying. I can't remember what it supports is what I was trying to say. And so, yeah, that will, like, that's the question of what it supports. If it supports 1440p, then at 120Hz, then any of the monitors that I literally just suggested, the Acer VG271UP, the Gigabyte G27Q, that is, those are all good options that you can check out. If it's boring, leave. Not hard. What's a good gaming PC for about 700 quid? So do you want to build it yourself, or do you want to buy a pre-built system? Because that would be the determining factor. Sure. Pre-built, got you. So for 700 pre-built, you're gonna have a bit of a, I guess a bit of a challenge. Let's have a look and see what, someone like Overclockers would sell you for that kind of price. For that price, I would hope you could buy an AMD one, because you could buy, you know, say 3600 or something like that. Do they have price? Oh, come on, website. Okay, so the only ones that they offer are a configurable and more than your budget. Did you say what currency you were looking to buy? And I can't remember. What can you configure this with? 3400D. Okay. What about 3600? That's better. There's no graphics card. Ah. Okay. How much? Yeah, that puts it over. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult to find one in that sort of price range. If you can find one with a i3 Ryzen 3 chip, a probably 1650 Super, that kind of thing, 8 gigs of RAM, and ideally an SSD and a hard drive, you're probably in a pretty good place. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head. 1 out of 10, what do you rate the G27Q? I guess a 7? Like, it's pretty decent. In terms of the panel, it was relatively fast in its response time. There wasn't all that much ghosting with it. There wasn't much input lag. The stand was fine. And yeah, the price is really decent for a 1440p 144Hz IPS. So yeah, I did a review of it if you want to check that out. It's up on the channel. So yeah, best IPS ultra wide. Now that's a question. I actually don't know. I would probably guess it's an LG one. So I did test the Yamaha one, the 144Hz one, which was pretty decent. The only problem with that, like I said, was input lag. Wasn't fantastic. That's VA, LG with an ultra IPS, an ultra wide. Yeah, I guess the answer is probably that Yamaha Viewmaster one, the IPS version. What would custom for 700 and 900? So then you're getting into a much more competitive territory. So you can probably get a Ryzen 3600 and 1660 Ti. You could probably drop the CPU, go for Ryzen 3 or whatever, but get maybe 2060. You should still be able to get 8 gigs of RAM, SSD, and 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive for that. So yeah, that kind of arrangement should work well for that kind of price. Would the Yamaha be good for mostly gaming? Yes, the only thing, like I said, is that the input lag wasn't amazing. Feel free to check out the review of it that I did a couple of weeks ago and see for yourself. I bought an SSD and I got a Ryzen 5600, but now seems like I won't get a GPU is my only option to wait. So honestly, the best option is get go on the used market. Look on places like eBay and get a used GPU. You'll get either better value for money or the same, but it's actually available. And then you can always sell that card on later when stock becomes available of the new card that you're after. Harold, so if you're not gaming on it, I would kind of agree. But if you are, the number of monitors that I've tested and the variances between the different individual panel manufacturers, let alone VA versus IPS versus TN, all that sort of stuff, is pretty drastic. And you can have a gaming experience on a monitor, even one that's designed for gaming, that's absolutely awful. And you can have what looks on paper to be the exact same monitor, but the experience is way, way better. So for normal people, sure, yeah, fine. But for gaming, yeah, it's a bit more picky. Is the 10400F okay for streaming? So if you're using a 10400F, I would generally recommend that you get you use the graphics card encoder, whether you're using NVIDIA, that's NVENC, or VCE or whatever it's called, AMD's encoder instead. If you have an AMD graphics card, that will take a lot of load off the CPU, and so will mean that your streaming experience is a fair bit better, and the quality is really decent too. Where can we get Apple? I would assume Apple's website. Is 1080p and 27-inch good? So personally, I don't like it. The pixel density just isn't there. So I would... personally, I would rather go 1440p if you're going with 27-inch, or if you're going with... if you want to stick with 1080p, then 24 inch is where I would personally head. Is i3 10th gen good for streaming? Probably not. I mean, I'm sure that you can, and if you already have it, give it a try. But you generally want more than 4 cores if you want to stream. Generally. PowerGF, no, because the MSI one is A from MSI. And B is a VA monitor, whereas the Gigabyte one is IPS, and so yeah. Height is a Crucial P1 good. So it's not the fastest SSD, it's not the fastest NVMe drive, but if you can get it for a good price, then yeah, sure. That sounds like a decent build, BP Clan. The only thing that I would bear in mind is that you only have a 500 gig SSD, which you will fill up pretty quickly. So you will want to add a hard drive in at some point later when you can afford one. Yeah. American Hawk, so IPS is better than TN or VA. Generally speaking, yes, IPS is generally slightly less ghosting prone, slightly faster, generally, nowadays anyway. Generally has a bit better colors, But if you want the fastest, like if you want a TA, if you want a like 240 hertz monitor, then generally you're looking at a TN monitor instead. Thank you very much, Mark. I'll start funneling it aside and you know, put some Patreon money towards it, and you know, eventually we'll get there. Yeah. 2070 Super versus 2080. It's not a massive difference. It's probably 5 FPS average across, you know, most games, so not all that much. NVENC versus Intel QuickSync, which is better? So both are using your dedicated hardware on graphics cards. The only difference is that Intel is using the integrated graphics on your chip versus NVENC using a dedicated hardware encoder on your graphics card. I haven't tested the difference between the two. I would say that NVENC probably has better optimization, but yeah. Is the Black Friday offers only available today? So some of them will be for the full weekend. Thank you, YY. What 1 to 2 terabyte hard drive would you suggest? Seagate Barracuda, get the 7200 RPM one, or a WD Blue if they still do a 7200 RPM one. If not, get a the black instead if you want. If you can afford it, the Seagate Barracuda is pretty decent. That's kind of equivalent to the what you call it? It's kind of equivalent to the WD Black. Just make your OnlyFans page free real estate. Well, I can make it a right meme, and it could just be literally OnlyFans. You know, PC fans. You know. Not sure anyone would pay for that though. Big Burger, I have not tested that monitor, so I can't tell you, I'm afraid. I have a 2070 Super and want a new CPU. Would a 5800X pair well with that for streamer and gaming, or would it be overkill? I think that'd be pretty decent. And I think if you're streaming and gaming, especially if you want to use the X264 encoder instead of NVENC, then yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good way to go about it, for sure. Any deals on the 1 or 2 terabyte Sabrent Rocket Q? I don't think I saw any of those. Any deals on the Rocket Qs? Only the Gen 4 and the standard rockets? Oh, come on. There we go. But yeah, just as a regular reminder, if you're buying from Amazon, feel free to use that link. It's my affiliate link, and it helps me out a lot. Otherwise, if you're buying from OC UK, feel free to check that out. Do you think the 2600X with a 5600X XT is a good pair? Yeah, I mean the 2600X will be a little on the slower side, but especially if you already have it, that's gonna be a pretty good experience, and you can always upgrade it later. Save money on a 5800X and get a 5600X plus the 3070 is better for streaming. So the implication is he already has a 2070 Super, and so the maths doesn't work out there, because a 3070 is like £600, and so the assumption is he would have to sell his card to get the the 3600 is 80 more. There is a pretty decent performance improvement between 26 and 2600X and 3600. So if you can get the 36, go for it. Otherwise, like I said, you can always just upgrade it later, because that's the nice thing about the AMD platform. What site can you get a 2060 for cheap? I have not seen basically any graphics card deals, like literally at all. Let's see if there are any on the list of sales. Nope, literally none. Yeah, graphics cards just aren't worth discounting at the moment for retailers. Yeah, no worries, American Hawk. That's fair. Ah. Nice. That's a pretty decent setup for sure. Pro Paperella. My eyes are failing again. Ow. I have high hopes for the next Intel iGPU with the new encoder. Should be good for streaming. That'll be interesting to see, definitely. 5600X is more suitable for playing games. 3600X is. Yes. You reviewed the Galahad a while back. Have any more thoughts in comparison to other AIOs? So I still prefer the Fractal S24. That's still my go-to for testing. It's the one that's in there. And it is still my preferred cooler. With that said, the Galahad is still decent. It was relatively quiet. If you like the RGB, it's cool. It's the thing with AIOs is that they're all manufactured by like 2 or 3 people, and then just have stickers branded on top with a couple of like slightly fancy things. So yeah, meh. So yeah, I can't say that I've got any more thoughts other than it's still fine. What's the best deal on a 1080p 144 Hz 1 millisecond monitor at the moment? I'm not sure on the 1 millisecond part, but the AOC 24 GTU is still probably the best 1080p 144 Hz monitor that I've tested it anyway. By any chance, do you know any good IP cameras for Synology NAS? Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I have the Ubiquity kit, but that's very much standalone. So I'm not sure on that. I do get emails from a whole load of people, but about testing IP cameras and stuff. But the problem with that is, 1, who cares, and 2, they all pretty much always come with their own subscription services, which I never really like. Would anyone notice the bad input lag in the Yamaha monitor? Not really. I think you would get used to it. It just, by comparison, it wasn't fantastic. Any good keyboards on Black Friday? I haven't seen any amazing deals. I would still recommend the Wu-Ting keyboards. Try to see if there's any on the list of discounted. There we go. Yeah, there really isn't. Oh, ow. There really isn't all that much on the discount side of things that I can see there. Anything really worth buying probably doesn't have much of a deal at the moment. Yeah, pretty much. Ugh. Ow. Should I switch to a 1660 Ti and a Ryzen 2600? Or a 3100, 30 USD difference. If you can get a 3300X, that'd be even better, but the 2060 is still decent. What gaming keyboard would you recommend? Depends on the price, but the Wu-Ting boards are still fantastic. Like I said, the Wu-Ting 1 and Wu-Ting 2. Other than that, honestly, just have a look on something like Amazon. Yeah. Real name's not given. It's not headaches. I have mapped out dystrophy. My eyes are literally falling apart. The front of my cornea is detaching from the rest of my cornea, and so they get cracked really easily, and it hurts like hell. So that's what I've got going on at the moment. And what peripherals do you use on your desk? I use a Coolmaster Master Keys Pro L, which is now ancient, a Logitech MX Master 3, and a Razer Naga Trinity, which I might just be able to show on camera. I use it with the that 8-button side. And then otherwise, I've got a Gamer's Nexus mouse mat, or a desk mat, and a Razer wrist rest, which has the vinyl has peeled off, which is really annoying because I can't even get in and fix it. And also a Stream Deck. What's best, Black Friday or Cyber Monday? I would hope Cyber Monday, but in the UK, neither. Yeah. Right. Since all of me is falling apart, I'm gonna disappear. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, if you're buying anything from any of the places, feel free to check out the links there, including Amazon and Overclock UK. Thank you kindly. And yeah, thanks for sticking around. A normal videos resume on Monday, so feel free to check that out then. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed for that full PC giveaway. It will be closer to Christmas. It will be like, probably the week before Christmas, then, but make sure you're subscribed and you won't miss it. Yeah. Thanks for watching.